Hey guys, Sarak here, and today I'm bringing the combo video for my Orcust deck profile. I also just want to quickly apologise for a mistake I made in my last video. I said that Galatea's effect to return a monster back to the deck that was banished was a cost. It's not, it's part of the effect. Just be aware of that, so it can be negated. So, without further ado, on with the combos. So, to begin with, I'm going to start with just the Scrap Recycler combo. So you normal summon your Scrap Recycler, and you send your copy of Crystron Rosenix from the deck to the graveyard. Now, Rosenix allows you to immediately make a token when it goes to the graveyard by banishing it. So you make the token, and then you link them off into your copy of Scrap Wyvern. Scrap Wyvern reborns the Recycler and immediately destroys the Recycler. Recycler's effect won't activate here because it's a when you can effect, so it will miss timing. But the important thing that will happen will be Scrap Wyvern's effect, which will special summon Scrap Golem from the extra deck. Golem, and then you pop the Scrap Wyvern. Golem's effect will immediately bring back the Scrap Recycler, which you can then use to send your copy of World Legacy World Wand from deck to graveyard. Now, because you have a World Legacy card in your graveyard, you can link those off into a copy of Lib. And Lib's effect allows you to immediately set a copy of World Legacy Succession from your deck, which you can then activate and bring back the Scrap Golem. And their Golem, not once per turn, can bring back Scrap Recycler. And Scrap Recycler can then send a copy of Orcust Nightmare. You can then banish the Nightmare, send your copy of Symbol Skeleton, and then banish the World Wand to special summon the Nightmare. And then we link off the Scrap Golem and the Nightmare into our copy of Galatea. Now we can activate Galatea's effect, return the World Wand to the deck to set and activate our copy of Orchestrated Bible, which allows us to use our Orcust effects on our opponent's turn. Apologise for the layout of this at the moment. My tripod is not tall enough to be able to get a really good view. So, now we have our Galatea and we've used its effect. So, we have a little bit of a choice of where we can go here. The most simple play would be just to quickly overlay the Galatea and then link off with our Ding and our Scrap Recycler into our copy of IP Masquerena. Now, this obviously gives us, for interruptions, we have a Dingirsu Engrave and the means of summoning it with a Symbol Skeleton. And we also have a Nightmare Engrave that we can set up with to send a World Legacy World Wand for next turn. We also have our IP Masquerena, which can link off with our Lib, which gives us a free spin, because when Lib is used as a link material, we get to return a card on the field to the deck, and that does not target. So we can make Appaloosa, we can make a Topologic, and we have the ways of triggering our own Topologic, or we can make a Nightmare. So there are lots of options with this board. But this is your most basic, your least committal of your boards. So if we rewind a little bit, and we go back to where we had Galatea on the field, and we had a copy of Scrap Recycler on the field as well. Okay, so what else we can do is we can also use our copy of Symbol Skeleton to summon our Orcust Nightmare. And then we can overlay into Dingirsu as well. And then we can link these off into another copy of Galatea. So now we have our Dingirsu Engrave. What we can do is we can link off the Nightmare and the Galatea into Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. Now, Rusty Bardish's effect allows us to send a copy of Silent Boots to the graveyard, which we can then use to search our copy of Fogblade and set that to the field. Now, I'd like to make... And then we can obviously banish the Silent Boots and search a copy of Shade Brigandine. Now, I'd like to add a little bit to my... a little addition that I would like to add to the deck would be one copy of Ancient Cloak. Now, what this would allow you to do is when you make your Rusty Bardiche, you then send the Ancient Cloak instead to search, which would set your copy of Shade Brigandine. And then you can banish the Ancient Cloak to search for a copy of Silent Boots. Now, because you control a Phantom Knight monster, you can special summon the Boots, and then you can immediately special summon the Shade Brigandine, and then you can link them off into IP Masquerena. And that just allows you access to the Masquerena play with a lib on the field as well, plus the Rusty Bardiche play, and you can still banish the Silent Boots to search your copy of Fogblade. Okay. So, just quickly going to go through the Maschine aspect of the deck now. Most of it is very, very similar, but it just starts off in a slightly different way that I'm going to go through quickly now. So, to begin the Maschine side of the deck, you obviously need a copy of Maschine Redeployment and a blank card to discard. The only thing I would say about the card you discard is it probably shouldn't be a trap card, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to activate your copy of Shade Brigandine, which is important for giving you extra extension. So, you activate the Maschine Redeployment and use that to search your copies of Maschine Irradiator and Maschine Megaform. Okay, you can then discard the Megaform to special summon the Irradiator, and then immediately activate Irradiator's effect to special summon the Megaform back and destroy the Irradiator. Then you activate Megaform's effect, which is essentially a lone Fire Blossom for the deck, and he will search and special summon a copy of Metal Cruncher. Metal Cruncher's effect allows you to search for 3 Earth Machines from your deck, pick one at random, and add it to your hand. Now, you're obviously searching for a copy of Scrap Recycler. And obviously what that allows you to do is you now have a Scrap Recycler in your hand, because it's guaranteed, because you just search all 3 Scrap Recyclers, or if you don't have it, it's already in your hand, so it doesn't matter that it's random. You normal summon the Scrap Recycler, and then go off into the same combo as before, but this time you have an extra material on the board. So, I hope you've enjoyed that. This deck offers loads of different combo lines and flexibility and ways that you can adapt the deck. It's possible to add the rank up spell into the deck, so you can make VFD. It's possible to add extra copies of Fogblade and so on into the deck. And so on. There's ways of making Dragoon in this deck if you can afford that part of the engine. It's really, really flexible and has lots of potential ways of interacting with your opponent. So I hope this combo video explains some of the ways the combos work, because some of the plays you have to do regarding Scrap Wyvern are not intuitive. And don't forget that Orcust monsters lock you into dark monsters, and that Bardiche itself cannot be used as a link material, and that IP Masquerena requires 2 non-link monsters, because they're very, very important for making this deck's endboards. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share it with anyone, and I will see you again soon.